turning a lead into a loyal customer and a closing. And those of you that are around me every day, you know this is all I'm talking about in September, because we've got a significant lead generation program, and it makes no difference if you can't do something with it. And too many people in our industry think that you were just born with this. Like, well, you know, I'm charming. All my friends told me I should get into real estate because I'm a social butterfly. And you think that's all that's required. And to people like Jay and I, who've been in this business for decades, we find that horribly insulting. Like, I'm offended by that you think you can just come in here and just sit down and take a phone call and there's no skill involved in it. Or you were just born with the skill. Who do you think you are? No, there's a lot of skill and there's a lot of strategy involved in it. And if you're not turning leads into closings, you're not aware of that. And that's your problem. So we're going to dive into it today. So when you walk out of the room, I don't know whether you're going to want to do anything about it or not, but you're going to be aware. A lead's just a lead. A lead's not a closing. It's not a customer. It could become one day, just like a bill could become a law, but it's just a lead. And some move on and become closings, and most don't. And some have to go through a very long process, and some don't. And that's all okay. That's normal as long as our expectations are lined up. So if our expectations get out of whack, then we start saying things like, well, these leads all suck. No, they're just a lead. It's just a bill. It's not a law. Leads don't suck. Sometimes salespeople do. Okay, remember that ability to laugh at yourself is endearing, right? This is one of those moments. Look, it's just a lead. What does NAR say the average lifespan of a home buyer cycle is? Does anybody remember? 405 days. Now, just a little show of hands, who wants to work with a buyer prospect for 405 days? Jay, you lying. Julia, yeah, that might be true. That's the average. By definition, it means that more than half of them are going to take longer than 405 days. But that's not what we want. I have bills to pay now. I need closings now. Well, Snowflake? Here's the deal. Then you have to tell me what you were doing 6 to 12 months ago if you want closings now. Because this is big ticket sales. You ain't selling candy bars at the checkout counter. The likelihood that you're going to get a lead today and you're going to take them out this weekend, no matter how much you want this to be true, and they're going to buy a house this weekend and then close in October, that ain't going to happen. That is highly unlikely. Possible? Stay in the business long enough, it's possible, it'll happen, but you shouldn't expect it. So what I want to do is take you through how a bill becomes a law or how a lead becomes a closing, and don't get it wrong, there's absolutely a strategy and skill involved here. And before we go diving into this, I want to just make a point with you, okay? I have agents tell me all the time, I like working with home buyers. I prefer to work with home buyers versus listings. And I know you're lying to me. I know you are. That's not actually true, especially in this marketplace. Because for that to be true, you have to seriously dislike yourself a lot. Okay? There's a form of self-hate going on there. What I think is true is I don't like doing the listing side activities. The activities that I know I need to do to generate listings, I don't want to do that. But I don't mind driving around Atlanta and unlocking doors for people and writing contracts for them. I don't mind that at all. You aren't ever going to do that if you don't have any customers in the first place. And what we're going to see by the time we get done today is it's kind of the same thing as the listing side. So why don't you just do the listing side or do some of it? Because you're not going to get away from those activities and be successful. You're not. If you think you're just going to chat people up on the telephone, go over and unlock a door for them, write a contract, and then go to closing, they're not crazy. You're crazy. That's just not going to happen. Fair enough? So what's a lead? Any person that has inquired about or expressed an interest in residential real estate. Doesn't mean they're going to buy anything. As a matter of fact, nationally, what is called capture and conversion, the process of turning a lead into a loyal customer and then a closing, nationally, the success rate is right at 1%. On average, you're going to have to talk to 100 people to sell them one home. Now, some people will say that's not true. I have a much higher percentage. And I say, well, what do you call a lead? Because I had somebody tell me one time that they had a 17% capture and conversion rate. And I'm like, well, that's bullshit. I know you're lying to me. I don't even know you, and I know you're lying. You're not 17 times better than everybody else. Oh, yes. I'm like, okay, so what's a lead? And when you get down to it, what they were calling a lead was somebody that's writing an offer to buy a house. I'm like, well, okay, so if you only measure the people that turned out to be serious, motivated, and qualified, then I bet your success rate is much higher. What I call a lead is anybody that's expressed an interest in residential real estate. That's just a lead. We're panning for gold here. If you go to Colorado, Jay, you went to college in Colorado. Did you ever go mining for gold you did? Did you pan for gold in a river? How did you do it?
No, I went to a place that, it was a tourist trap.
So you were guaranteed some success, huh?
Pretty much.
You might call that a real estate brokerage.
But I'm still working here, so it wasn't very successful.
Right. If you've ever panned for gold in a river, you get a bunch of crap in the pan, and you got to sift it out, and you're looking for gold nugget. You might sit there all day freezing your butt off in this cold river to get one little piece of gold nugget that's not really worth that much. And I think they call that fun. I don't know. You're doing it because you hope you're going to hit a gold mine, right? Okay, so a lead's just anybody that's inquired about or expressed an interest in residential real estate. Hey, I want to give you one other stat before we move on to kind of put with that 1% number. Nationally, the percentage of people that buy the house they called on, 1%. You're going to capture, on average, 1% of your lead inquiries you're going to turn into a closing. And 1% of the people that inquire about a specific house buy the house they inquired on. What are the odds that we're just selling houses to people that we're going to buy them anyhow?
99%.
Yeah, that's what we're doing nationally as an industry because we lack the skill and strategy set to do anything else with them. So Jay, if you just buy the house you called me on, I can pretty much pull that off. And if you don't, I don't know what to do with you. Okay, so how do you generate leads? Well, there's a number of different ways. Let's just run through some of them real quick. Now this is unthinkable. No, let's just move on. We're not going to do this because it would require you to have a database. You would have to make phone calls. You would have to hold open houses. You would have to be active, robust, and relevant on social media. You would have to be actively involved with your social groups, with your sphere of influence. You'd be actively networking all the time. This is just too much work, isn't it? Like, I didn't get into real estate to do all that stuff. And videos like this make me uncomfortable, and I don't do anything that makes me feel uncomfortable. I come up with distractions that some people would call excuses to not do it because I don't like it. So if I don't want to work every day, like get up, get dressed, and go to work and do these activities with these defined groups of people, if I don't want to do that, then I can start trying to buy my business. This is rampant in our industry. It's legitimate. It does generate leads. Chris, is that true? It does. Yeah. You can hook up with a relocation company. It's legitimate, and they have to buy something. They're moving here, right? Rip, you're working with a family right now. This guy does lie detector test for the FBI.
DA.
DEA.
Why is
And, and he's Rip's riding around in a... Can you imagine? Guy does lie detector tests for the DEA and Rip's riding around with him all day? This ain't gonna last. Relocation company, that's legitimate. Do those folks have to buy a house?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, it's motivated, highly motivated. What's the problem? 42% right off the top to the relo company. Think about that. Before anything gets paid, 42% right off the top to the relo company. You can go get on some dude's team. Oh, it's all over Atlanta. And they'll provide you leads. They will. Where else? I'll give you, come be on my team and I'll give you leads. They're internet buyer leads, and I've got a ton of them. And I always ask the question, well, if it's so good, why do you have a team? Why don't you just work them? And here's what they say to me. I ain't doing that shit. I'm going to get Bill to be on my team and let him do that shit. I'm not doing that. Right, that's what I thought. Oh, just give your team leader, after you pay the lead generation source, Zillow, OpCity, Commissions Inc., it just goes on and on. There's an endless number of sources that your team leader, who's just doing what you could have done yourself, goes out, makes a deal with them, they get leads. Well, I don't want to work this shit. It's internet buyer leads. I don't want to talk to 100 people and say, hey, Bill, come be on my team, and I'm going to give them to you, and then I'm going to whip you every day. Bill, if you just worked harder, if you were just more skillful, if you just worked my program with like a high sense of urgency, because these groups want to tell you that speed kills. And I agree, speed does kill. Speed, they're going to make emphatically to you that it is the speed of response on lead generation that is going to drive your capture and conversion. I think it's important, but that makes Bill, like if it comes in at midnight on Friday night, dude, you gotta talk to them. 24/7, baby.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, sounds fun. And by the way, after we pay Zillow 35% right off the top, then I need half of what's left. Okay? And then Century 21 standing there, they got to get their grubby little paws in the pie too, right? Uh-huh. Hey, Bill, there ain't going to be much left for you, buddy. I can just stay all day. Can we just stay in here all day, order luncheon, and just stay on this whole team thing? I can just do like 6 hours on this. Zillow, OpCity, these are what they take. Commissions Inc., it even gets higher. Free. Whose idea was free? These other groups are charging 35 to 50%. Whose idea was that?
Who preaches free?
Free. So I got a lead gen, says, well, I'm not getting any leads from you. Show up to work. Sell a house. If you're all in, I'm all in with you. I'll spend anything. I do spend anything. I'll roll up my sleeves and make calls with you. I'll come in on weekends. You don't care. I don't have 1 second. I don't want you treating your business like a mild hobby that you check in on every once in a while. That's 100% your decision. Don't look at me. I don't have 5 seconds for you. Because I got other people in this room that are treating it as a career, and it all goes on them. I wish it would go on you, but that's your decision. We have lead gen significant, 100 plus a month, minimum, plus my business. Bob, have you ever gotten $1 million listing from me?
Yes.
Lisa, you ever gotten $1 million listing? Yeah. Leanne, you ever got $1 million listing? Plus? Yeah. Yeah, and it's coming for you too. I just need you to engage in your business. You got to do that first. What do we charge for it? I don't charge anything. We don't charge an upfront fee. I don't charge a premium on your commission split. Just whatever your commission split is here with us, you get the referrals at no extra cost. Why? Because I am you. And I don't like doing all the work and giving away all the money, so I just assume you don't either. Is that fair? Okay. Stop me. Okay, please. Everybody in the room's praying you'll interrupt me at some point today, so please do. Okay, let's have it be a conversation. Okay, so these are places that you can generate the leads from. 95% of my time is going to be spent trying to convince you and help you to do it from the left-hand column. Because you can do all of that almost for free. It makes you an outdoor cat. It makes you not dependent on anybody the rest of your career. Not dependent on me, not dependent on Zillow, not dependent, because these other places on the right-hand side, they can all make business decisions right now that eliminate you. And some of them have. Zillow has decided, now it wasn't 2 years ago that they were saying, we're not your competitor, you're our customer. We make money off you as the agent. We don't want to compete against you. Fast forward a little bit, and today they're a national brokerage recruiting agents to come work for them so they can stop giving business to people like us and only getting 35%, because 35% ain't enough for them. They want it all. And they're going to buy houses, and they want to list it with themselves, and they want to sell it with themselves, and they don't want your 35% anymore. It's just going to take them a little while to completely get there. With a business decision, you're out. So if you're dependent on them, you got a problem. And it's happening all over the place. Any of these groups can make a business decision to eliminate your strategy with them right now without consultation or discussion with you. And they are sitting around talking about how to do it. I wouldn't get dependent. I'm going to constantly plead with you to get into the left-hand column, and then we're going to build an infrastructure around here that will help you do it, because I don't expect you to know. They don't teach this in pre-license. Can you remember your pre-license class where they said, okay, so tonight we're just going to talk about how to market yourself. They just teach you how to pass a test. And then you pass the test and you get into the business, and then goofballs like me are going, well, Rip, you got to market yourself. You're like, oh, that's not what I got into real estate for. I got into real estate to drive around in my S-Class Mercedes showing very nice luxury homes. But I don't have any customers. What do I do? And this is, Dwayne, don't let me go here. Rob, don't let me go here for more than 5 seconds, because I'll go on a 4-hour rant. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. Real estate brokerages all over the country have abdicated their responsibility to you. They've abandoned you. They've said, we're holding your license, good luck. And what I want to say to you is, hey, get up, get dressed, get your fanny in here, and let's work on marketing you. I don't know how. I know. That's okay. Why do you think Rob has a job? You have 2 little kids at home. You do. Yeah, they like pizza? They love pizza. Yeah, you're fired. Get out. If you don't want his 2 little kids to starve to death, get up, get dressed, and get in here, and let him teach you how to do some of these things to market yourself effectively, and stop taking these bullshit social media classes that tell you to do everything except, when I look at your social media, who's done this with me? I say, this is very pretty, but there's one thing missing. Leanne, what's the one thing missing? Me. You! Ami, what's the one thing that's missing? Not you. These people are manipulating you, and I think most of them are doing it with good intent. They just don't know what the hell they're talking about. Bob, who are people going to do business with?
People they know, like, and trust.
That's right. Leanne, if you're not in your social media, they don't know, like, or trust you. You've got to be there. I know it makes you feel uncomfortable. I know you don't know how. That's what we got all these people walking around here for. You just have to go, help! I want to, I don't know how. You're not supposed to know how. Okay? We're all set up to help you because I want you to be in this left-hand column. Okay. If you choose to get into the lead capture, which all of us will to some degree, Okay, you don't like any of this. She's walking out on me already. Wow, that didn't take long. Okay, if you do get leads, if you do generate leads, you better be able to capture them, turn them into a loyal customer. Speed kills, absolutely, speed does kill. Speed is always going to be the number one thing in capture and conversion, okay? Ideally, if somebody's browsing for homes on my website, I want to reach out to them while they're on my website. Now, that's kind of hard to do and have a life too. So there is balance there. People like OpCity are going to say that the customer demands a response within 5 seconds now. And I just think that's batshit crazy. The customer might demand that, but that's an impractical reality. But I think as quickly as you can. Okay? Don't call somebody at 3 o'clock in the morning, even if they're on your website. That's just weird. Okay? But speed kills, no doubt. Folks, it's all about the follow-up. If you get into this side of the business because you don't like the follow-up campaigns, you're going to end up working a real job here real soon. It's all about the follow-up. They are not going to buy a house this week. It's about how clever and robust and consistent you can be in nurturing your leads through their process. Because when are they going to buy a house?
When they're ready.
That's right. When they're damn good and ready. And nothing you're going to say is going to speed that up. All you're going to do is alienate them, make them skeptical and defensive. So you've got to have a constant contact campaign. There's no doubt about it. It is not what you say. So we work on this every morning. We've got 12 to 15 agents that come in at 8 o'clock every morning, and we practice this. And I'm going to urge all of you to get up, get dressed, and come join us because it's that important. You are not naturally good at this. Naturally, you suck. Okay, this is one of those moments where you laugh at yourself again, okay? It's not natural. It is not what you say. You've got to learn how to say it. So watch. Ellen, that's a nice dress you have on today.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Isn't that nice? Mm-hmm. Ellen, that's a nice dress you have on today.
Thank you.
Ellen, that's a nice dress you have on today. Exact same words? Exact same words. It can be anything from a compliment to an insult, or you're not quite sure, right? You've got to use your voice. Who wants to role play with me quickly? One of my 8 a.m.s. Okay, Sam. Sam's on our website browsing. She had to go through my landing page to get there, so I got her. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hey, I'm calling for Sam.
This is her.
Sam, it's Mike over at Century 21. Hey, my website's telling me that you've been browsing for homes. Is it lying to me?
No, that's correct.
You have? Okay, great. Hey, I just wanted to reach out. Did you see anything so far that you really liked?
I'm just really looking. I didn't see anything in particular.
Just kind of browsing for homes? Okay, great. Hey, where do you live now?
Right now I live in Buckhead.
What I want you to be paying attention to is how I'm saying it to her, not what I'm saying. You live in Buckhead right now. Okay, great. Hey, do you own or do you rent something?
I'm renting.
You're renting. Cool. Okay, great. Hey, when's your lease run up?
Summer.
Next summer?
Yes.
Oh, okay, great. What, are you just interested? Are you trying to take advantage of those 0% interest rates? Or?
Yeah. I don't know about zero, but yeah, I've
Okay.
heard good things about interest rates.
Okay, great. Seen anything that you fell in love with yet?
No, not really, not yet.
Hey, I got some good news for you.
What's that?
Like, I look at homes every day. It's like my job, right? And a lot of them are homes that aren't even up for sale yet, but will be in the near future.
Oh, that's good.
If I should see something that I think was a great opportunity for you, would it be okay if I reached out to you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Great. In order to do that, can I just ask you a few questions about, what the perfect home for you would look like?
Yeah, that makes sense.
What's so hard about that? Now, is she going to wait until next summer? I don't know. Most of the time, they're just looking. right? We all do this. You walk into the store, the salesperson says, "Can I help you, ma'am?" You're just looking. We're all defensed up, okay? It's not what you say, although I'm going to give you some guidelines for this that'll help you, but it is how you say it. This is what everybody, whether you're on the buyer or seller side for the rest of your life, whenever you reach out to somebody, this is what they want to know. Most people are just more polite than to say it, but here's what they're doing, Ellen. I call you, in Ellen's mind, she's going, "Who are you and what do you want?" And the longer I take to get that out in a logical progression to her so she can figure it out, the more frustrated she gets. Don't do that. You're stalling. You're frustrating the living hell out of the customer. And he's getting skeptical and defensive by the second. Oh, God. You do it. You answer your phone and it's spam. It's a telemarketer. And you instantly sink into your soul, like, I knew I shouldn't have answered this phone. And you can sniff it out on them. Why? Because their enthusiasm is disingenuous. They're a little too happy. Or they call you by a name that you don't go by. Like if you called me and you said, "I'm calling for Michael." I'm like, "Well, you don't sound like my mom, so this is a telemarketer," right? I instantly went off the phone. Ring, ring.
Hello.
"Hey, it's Mike over at Century 21. Just a quick call." Just get to the point. Don't say, "How are you doing today?" You don't care, and they know you don't care. Who are you? What do you want? Sing your song. Hey, look, these calls for the rest of your career are all pretty much going to be the same. Chris, you do a lot of this, right? Are the calls roughly similar?
Every single one.
Every single one. When I say sing your song, I mean this. Mick Jagger with the Rolling Stones. Think of Satisfaction. How long's that dude been singing that song? Greg, when did that song come out?
I don't know.
60s?
60s, yeah.
60s. Okay, 3/4 of the room wasn't even born when that song came out. That dude's been singing that song for 50 years. And you go to a Rolling Stones concert, you want to hear some new version of it? No, you want to hear it like you heard it on the radio when you were in high school. And you don't want him to do it differently. And what if you went to a Rolling Stone concert and they didn't play any of their hits? They just played new songs that they wrote in their 70s. Would you be a little disappointed? Sing your song. Mick Jagger has to sing Satisfaction for 50 years the exact same way he sang it when they recorded that song in the 60s, or you're going to be disappointed. Hey, have your way of going through these conversations, and then you'll get tired of it. You'll be able to say it without even thinking, "Hey, Mike, if you felt like you could make more money in less time by listing your house with me today, would you be prepared to make that decision?"
Click.
Would you? Would you?
Click, 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 click.
I can do that without even thinking about it. Now, who wants to be talked to that way? Nobody does. But have your way of going through. You've got to figure out how to identify yourself and help them understand why you're talking to them, what you want, and why they should want to participate in this call with you. If you come to our 8 a.m. practice sessions, we'll figure this out together. Okay, books to mastery. Look, you're a professional. Say yes.
Yes.
Yes, okay. So let's try it one more time. Bob, you're a professional. Everybody, you're a professional. Yes, which means we're always working to improve ourselves, to hone our skills. Because the biggest expense in your career, watch, some of you are freaked out with business expenses. It's all you sit around and think about. I mean, nobody around here in particular, but some of you are just obsessed with expenses. The biggest expense in your career, without a doubt, is the money you could have made this year, but you didn't. Because you didn't have the skills to capture it. It went right past you. It just didn't leave you a note and said, "Well, I would have bought a house with you, but you lack skill to capture me as a customer." They don't do that. So we're constantly working to improve our skills and master them. And if you're not, start polishing your resume for your real job, because you ain't going to make it. This business is tough. It's going to get tougher. You know why? Because she's greedy. And she's greedy. And he's greedy. And you're greedy too. And they're coming for you, and they're coming for your business. Lisa wants her share, and she wants your share too. She's just going to smile at you as she's taking it. They're going to, if you don't polish your skills and get good, you are going away. Question-based selling, Thomas Freeze. This is good stuff. If you don't like talking to people in a salesy way, Bob, you sat in on this, right? Good? Would you recommend it? Absolutely. This guy lives right here. He lives about 5 miles from us. He sells this series. He has a whole training session. We just can't afford it. He wanted to charge $75,000 to come in and do a 4-day thing. I'm like, I don't think I can get anybody to sit in a room for 4 days with you. He goes, well, if they won't do that, then I don't want to do it at all. Like, he literally won't do the program for real estate people. Well, I said, why? He goes, your folks don't want it. They don't want it. They just want the shortcut, the easy way to making money, and I don't teach that. I teach professional sales skills. So he goes to pharmaceutical companies, big corporations, and teaches their international sales teams skills and how to talk to people in a way that doesn't sound like sales breath. But he's also written 3 or 4 books, and they're all start with QBS, question-based selling. It's really good stuff. If you want to capture and convert people to loyal customers, and you don't want to sound like Mr. Sales Guy, like, hey, Mike, if you felt like you could get more money in less time by listing your house with me today, would you be prepared to make that? If you don't want to talk to people like that, then don't. In the 90s, Greg and I would sit in classes and they would teach us closing techniques. 14 different ways to close people. You like to be closed? I don't like to be closed either. If you start talking to me like that, I'm just going to hang up on you. Tom and his question-based selling program teaches you how to talk to people and sound like a human being to them. And it resonates. Read 2 chapters in 1 book and tell me if you just don't intuitively know, yeah, that's right. That's how you do it. Chris Smith wrote a book called The Conversion Code. Who's read Chris's book? Oh, this is hurting my heart right now. Guys, you can't be in real estate sales and not read this book. There's just a few books I'm going to say that about. You can't be in residential real estate and not read Ninja Selling. You cannot convince me that you're a serious professional in this industry if you haven't read Ninja Selling. I think you're just parked here for temporarily as you're waiting for the next real job to come along until you run out of money. You have to read Chris's book, The Conversion Code, or you can't call yourself a professional. In his book, he's going to give you some acronyms to follow. LP Mama. I just like saying it. LP Mama. Hey, Bob, LP Mama. Like it ought to be like a code word around here. You know, in hospitals, if there's a fire, they go over and they go paging Dr. Firestone to the 5th floor, right? That's code. LP Mama ought to be code for something around here. But what LP Mama stands for is location, price, motivation, agent, mortgage, and appointment. This is a conversational pattern. Is it important that you go through it in that order? It's not. The customer will jump around on you. You need to do that. But when you get brain freeze and you got that awkward moment where you're not sure what to say next, LP Mama can help you with that. Lisa, this home's in Roswell. Were you looking for a home particularly in Roswell, or were you considering other communities?
Yeah, looking in Roswell.
You're just in Roswell? How come? What about Roswell?
Close to work. Like everything about the area.
Oh, okay, great. Where do you work? Where do you work?
At Century 21.
Oh, okay. What a great company. I hear the broker there is so charming and good looking. Is that true? Don't believe everything. Lisa, this home is listed for $300,000. Is that in the ballpark of where you were looking?
3, maybe 3 to 4.
Okay, good. LP Mama will just help you as a guideline through the conversation when you get stuck. Ninja Selling is going to talk about Ford, F-O-R-D, family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. Now, some of this might sound a little hokey to you. Like, I don't want to talk to people about their... Like, I had a guy do this to me. First time I met him, coffee meeting, we sit down, he goes, Mike, so tell me about your dreams and aspirations this year. That's the first thing you're going to say to me? Tell you about, do you want to see my tax returns too? I mean, it's just so inappropriate, right? But, hey, what's your name? Ellen?
Just call me Fred, it's fine.
Fred, did you do anything fun this summer? Did you take any trips?
I did.
You did? Okay, great. Where'd you go?
You should look into some.
Where'd you go?
I went to, where did I go? I went to
Lake
Paris.
Toxaway.
Yeah.
I hear that's a great trip.
It is.
Right. The people you went there with, they look so fun and charming and good looking.
You know, they were.
They are, yeah, I know. It's recreation. Hey, where are you hoping to go next year?
Great Italy.
Italy. Dreams. Now, I don't say, tell me what your dreams are. Like, it's ridiculous. Who talks like that, right? Greg, what are you dreaming of right now other than me shutting up? We don't talk like that. But you get people to, this is how you talk to people. Now, if you're going to get really scared, you are skilled, you blend LP Mama and Ford together. And that's when you're at a whole nother level in the conversation. And this is what makes people feel connected to you. This is when they get off the phone and go, what a cool guy. Usually what makes somebody a cool guy is they showed a lot of interest in me. And it seemed genuine. It felt authentic. It's not. Chris talks to like 50 people a day and he does the same thing with everybody, but he uses his voice and he has a system and a strategy. And when he gets to, like Ellen, when Ellen leaves here, she might not care anything about us, but did you hear the term she used earlier when she was telling you about the dedicated email address? What term did she use to describe you? Babies. You're my babies. And I hear that and my skeptical sales brain goes, that's good, I got to use that. That's very clever language. Now I'm getting the eye right now because the lecture I'm going to get after this is, I mean that and I don't need you to, like, yeah, I know you mean that. Well, she calls everybody her babies.
No, she doesn't.
No, she doesn't. Of course, what else is she going to say?
What else are you going to say?
You're my babies. That's great. Hey, this is why I tell you guys all the time, watch Ellen. She's the best salesperson in Atlanta. You're her babies. Oh, that's good. I'm going to steal that. It's so good. You have to admire great salesmanship when you see it. Well, that's one way to get me to shut up, just screw up my presentation. I was almost done anyhow. No, don't worry about it. Okay, so Chris is going to talk about one other concept in his book in the conversion code. And many of you are stuck on this. I'm calling them back. I'm trying to get in touch with them, and they're not responsive. Anybody had that? Like they're ghosting me. They've gone dark on me. Is Casey in here? Okay, he had a lead opportunity. I think it was yesterday, and I didn't know who this was, but the guy gave some famous rapper's name, and when he goes, "Why'd you give me this? This obviously isn't real. Don't you know who this is?" I'm like, "Of course I don't know who it is. There's not been a decent song written after 1980. How would I know?" So Chris is going to talk about this in his book. People are getting up and walking out on me. That's okay. How often should you follow up with somebody before you become annoying? Okay, here's the answer to that. You are annoying. Well, I don't want them to feel like I'm stalking them. You are stalking them. Okay? If somebody says, how do you know I was on your website? I'm hanging outside your bedroom window peeping in. You need to get comfortable with it to that extent. You are stalking them. You just don't want to be annoying. I don't want to be annoying either. What's annoying? Frequency isn't annoying. You got to get past this. We live in the South, and you guys are stuck on this. You think frequency is annoying. I think irrelevancy is annoying. Okay? Hey, if you're calling me to give me a pot of gold, please call me all the time. That's not annoying. Chris in his book is going to talk about a 3-2-1 ratio. You get a lead opportunity today. 3 times within 24 hours, you reach out to them. The second day, twice. The third day, once. My recommendation is on that final once, you say something like this: Camille, this is Mike over at Century 21. I know I'm bugging you to death. I just wanted you to know I'm here to help, and I'll be here. So I'm not going to keep bugging you, but I'm going to leave you my number, and when you're ready, I'm here, okay? Now, am I going to leave her alone? No. Oh, hell no, I'm not going to leave her alone. Don't leave them alone. They don't want to be left alone. Well, why isn't she taking my call or responding to my calls, text, or emails? She doesn't feel like it. That's why. I'm going to finish with this, a 1-minute story, because you got to get this or you're going to fail. I have a guy that I've worked with forever. His name's Bill Lamb. Bill handles money management for me. Hopefully he does. Bill calls me. We meet twice a year. And we get together and have a review and just make sure that I still have some money left somewhere. Okay? So Bill calls me. It's about this time last year, about the middle of September. He goes, hey, Mike, Bill here. Just want to get together for our semi-annual review. Holler back at me and let me know a good date and time for you. Is that annoying? No. I like Bill. I think Bill's really a smart guy. And I think Bill helps me a lot. He's smarter than I am about a lot of that stuff. And I do want to meet with him and talk to him. That was about the middle of September. I put a little note to myself, call Bill. And I don't. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that this afternoon. And I don't. And I don't do it the next day. And I don't do it the next week. And I don't even do it the next month. And it's March. It's 7 months later. And I finally call him. I'm like, Bill, hey, it's Mike. He goes, Mike? And I go, yeah. I'm just getting back to you from your message last September. I did want to talk to him. It wasn't the most important thing in my life. I could talk to you today. I could talk to you next week. There's no urgency to this. We just need to do it, and I do want to talk to you. And he says this to me. He goes, wow, I just thought you had found a different money manager to work with. I'm like, why would you think that? He goes, because you never got back to me. I'm like, yeah, I was going to. He goes, it took you 7 months to get around to calling me back? I go, hey, Bill, let me tell you a secret. You're the sales guy. You make money off of me. You could have followed up with me, too. As a matter of fact, don't tell me that I should have been more diligent in getting back to you. He goes, well, since you didn't call me back, I thought you didn't want to talk to me. Big mistake on Bill's part. I do want to talk to him. I am interested. It's just not the most important thing at any given moment. And when it is, I just don't feel like it. I've got time. I've got the ability to call him back. I just don't feel like talking about that. You ever feel like that? You ever get this, like retargeting? You're on social media. You see a product. I do like that. And they start bombing you with ads, right? Well, I liked that last night while I was sitting in front of the Braves game, but I don't want it now. Why? I don't know. I just don't. I felt like it then. I don't feel like it now. It's a shame Bob had to leave. He's got a closing. But remember the story we told? He called an expired listing 5 years ago. They did not want to put their house back on the market. They did not want a real estate agent. I don't want you. Puts them in a CRM, puts them on a relevant constant contact campaign. 5 years later, out of the blue, they call him and they go, hey, you probably don't remember us, but you talked to us 5 years ago and we are ready to sell our $2.5 million house now. And we found the other house we want to buy for 2.7, and we need you to write the contract for that too. And I think it was last month or the month before, he made $105,000 off that. The house sold in like 3 days, and they had already picked out the next house they wanted. He wrote $5.2 million in contracts that week off of somebody he spoke to one time 5 years ago. But what did he do right? He had a really effective follow-up campaign that made them feel connected and in touch with him over a long period of time. That included a lot of videos, tip videos, relevant, weekly, right? So like today, daily challenge, I say, guys, make your 1 to 2 minute video and send it out in an embedded email to everybody on the planet that you have an email address for. And none of you are going to do it today. I know you're not, because you don't know what the hell I'm talking about with an embedded email. And you don't want to go to Rob and say, Rob, can you show me how to do this? Because how long would it take you to show them how to do it?
4 minutes.
And then they would be able to do it for the rest of their lives. It's not hard. It just sounds hard. But you have to have the initiative to go, wow, if I did that, then when I talk to people today that do not want to buy or sell anything with me today, but might at some point in the future, and I want to sell homes too, I need a way of staying connected to them that doesn't take a whole lot of time and effort on my part. I need a systematic strategy that I can just put everybody on and it works. And that is how you build a sales pipeline. Greg, you've been in professional sales for 100 years. Is that semi-right? Yes. So watch. Why is Greg our preferred mortgage partner? I don't know. Greg, how long have I known you?
31 years.
And for the first 27, 28 years of that, did we do business together? No. Greg's never gotten any business out of me. But he's here now. Why? We stayed in contact. Greg stayed in contact with me, relevantly. So when the time came for us to have a mortgage partner, I was like, well, Greg's a good guy. Why is Greg a good guy? Greg paid a lot of attention to me for 2 decades, never got anything out of it. It makes him a good guy. I like people who like me, and you do too. And your customers will. If you display interest in them, if they are your babies, I want you to see it when I know I'm getting a look. I'm going to get a lecture about this. But before I get the lecture, I want you to see the skill that's involved in that. If your customers feel like they're your babies, it's going to make them like you. It just is. Questions? Okay, that either means that you've already eaten lunch somewhere, but you're physically still here, or we've just more than adequately covered the subject matter. I'm going to choose the latter. Okay, good. So let's leave here with this. You get to choose where you want your business to come from. And if you don't choose, then you won't have any business. You'll be the best real estate agent nobody knows about. And some of you, if you're not having closings right now, that's why. You are the best real estate agent nobody knows about. Now, you can do something about that. You can start marketing yourself every day. That's your job. I don't know what you thought your job was when you got into this business. I didn't. But that is your job. And if you don't want to do that job, then you need to start a lead generation program. Which one's right for you? Come see me. I'll help you figure that out. But you're going to have to endure me trying to get you to market yourself first, because it's free and it's more effective and it'll make you fiercely independent the rest of your career. Fair enough? And if you choose to do some or part of a lead generation program, you need to get highly skilled at it, and you need to have a strategy, a way of speaking with people that works, and implementing that strategy. Fair enough?
Yes.
Okay, let's pray. Ready?